Hey guys, what's going on? This morning I got this email from Jason Bond after yesterday's bloodbath in Small Account Journey, and I thought it was interesting. I went to the emergency session he did today. Now, today's a Saturday, and it's pretty surprising that it really shows like the dedication Jason has to basically helping people with these trades because most of these gurus wouldn't take an hour on a Saturday or 2 hours on a Saturday to sit down and talk about how they're going to improve and change and keep going with their service. And unfortunately, yesterday it wasn't quite as chilled out as that. Jason had kind of seemed to be kind of shocked, I think. We saw the small account journey drop by 50%, so he'd turned 2,000 into 30,000. And then yesterday alone, he lost $15,000 on the small account journey A, the first one that's been running since the end of April. So that's pretty nasty, but I think it's important to realize that, and he starts this email off with exactly that. So Journey A and Journey B and Journey C. Journey B, he locked in the profit, so it was 15 out of 15 and it grew 337%. And he's paying himself, and I think that's a smart thing to do. I think the cynical people might say, oh, he's resetting because, he lost on a trade or whatever. But I think with Journey B, I agree, paying yourself when you're up 337%, it's what most of us should do, right? Jason is extremely ambitious with these. He wants to turn 2,000 into 100,000. And let's be fair, he got it 2,000 to 30,000, which is really impressive. And it was basically due for a pullback. So I think turning on Journey B, turning 2,000 into 8,700 in less than 2 months is pretty amazing. And so let's see where else we have here. So I'm also going to put Journey A in the boat. So in the boat is a weird expression. I've seen him use it. It means he's going to pay himself, basically. So in just over 3 months, I grew that balance from 2,000 to 15,000. He actually grew it to 30,000, as I'll show you in a minute. And then yesterday, he lost half of it in one day when the market took a fairly significant, but not ridiculous, dip. The problem is when you're really close to the money with these bull puts, that's always the risk you're going to have to take, right? So you've got the upside, which is massive profits really quickly, so hundreds of percent in weeks or months. But you also have the reverse of that, which is you can lose it all in a day. Luckily, he didn't lose it all, but he lost half of it on Journey A in a day. It was on 4 trades, so I'll show you those trades in a minute. And so I think he's doing the right thing here. It's a shame, and I wish it hadn't happened. I wish the risk reward was just a little bit less crazy on these, but you can do it by altering the strike. So you can change the strikes to be more conservative, so a little bit more out of the money. You can make these trades a little bit safer for yourself, and the people that I know that are really thriving in small account journey are the ones that are changing the strikes to fit their own risk tolerance. So Jason, remember, when you go into the small account journey, Jason is trying to hit like this hard. He's trying to risk it all, and I don't think people really appreciate that you can lose all in in a couple of trades, or half of your money in a couple of trades. But it has to be like that in order to get that reward potential, to get to that $50,000 or $100,000 from a $2,000 starting. So overall, I'd say this is actually really impressive, even despite the fact that he lost some. I think he's doing the right thing here. Locking in 653% is definitely the right thing to do. It's not for me though, so I do take some of his trades, and I think now is actually the best time to join the service, because every single time he has a losing streak like this, if you can call this a losing streak, it was like a day, but it was the biggest losing day or few days that he's ever had. And so whenever that happens, he's always gone on a really good green streak for a long time afterwards, at least a dozen trades usually. And so if you want to join, you still have the service open. He kind of had a hissy fit yesterday where he's like, I'm never going to do another sale on my service ever again, because a small portion of the people that had joined, of the hundreds or thousands of people that joined Small Account Journey, were complaining, and it was upsetting him. And I don't blame him. He puts his heart and his soul into the service, and people were upsetting him, saying, this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. Whereas he's still made money, but a lot of people that are joined and were just mirroring him, often with a lot of money, bigger than the $2,000 starting thing. I saw one guy who was down $26,000, and he just started the challenge, or the journey. That means he wasn't using the allocated amount because that's too much money to risk on these high risk, high reward strategies. I'm a big fan of having buckets, right? So you have like different buckets of risk reward. So I might do a little bit on something like this and a little bit in Sidekick Traders Discord, a little bit on my SPY day trades. But it certainly wouldn't gamble your whole, like, remortgage your house and put it into small account journey because as we saw yesterday, you can lose half of that overnight. The service is still open, so he did reopen it. He was going to shut it off and not let anybody else join because he just wants to focus on the trading. He has more than enough subscribers, but it is open again, so you'll find a link in the description below. You can come and still get it for $599 for a year, which is a total bargain. Jason teaches non-stop. Like, if you want to learn how to do spreads, Jason's teaching almost every day, and there's lots of materials to learn from as well. If this isn't quite your cup of tea, if you're like me and you want conservative rather than this really high risk, high rewards spread system, I'd highly recommend going to the link in the description below and signing up for the Consistent Passive Profit System webinar. This is a webinar that Lance and I from Theta Traders did recently, and it shows that over 100 plus trades in a row, and these are smaller, much smaller risk, but much smaller reward as well, but it's consistent. So even though the markets took a dip last week, and 2 of the trades that I had on expired for full profit almost, so no problem whatsoever. The dip didn't bother me at all. I was just riding it out because what we do is we basically do these trades that are much further out the money, and so you're able to relax, let the market do its thing, and none of the trades really get challenged in any sort of way. So there's absolutely no way you wake up one morning and these trades are down, max loss on 10 trades or anything. So this is something that I really recommend. I've never lost a trade with this system, and I trade it all the time now. And Lance and I combined have over 100 plus trades that have all been winners. So it's something that really should be in your arsenal for trading, even if you're doing something like Jason Bond's small account journey, because Jason Bond's journey is a good way to make a lot of money quickly, but you can also lose a lot of money quickly as well. So yeah, he has some really good reviews though. If you go on Trustpilot, it's like 5-star reviews for this stuff. It's really good. You can find a link to that in the link that I'll put in the description below to bring you to this sales page right here. So looking through the different journeys now, I showed this the other night, but you hadn't updated it, so I thought I would kind of show you the trades. So you can see these really long winning streaks. This is Journey A, the initial one that started in April, I think the end of April 24th. And so you can see there was a couple of losing trades here, but he was able to contain the losses. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. So this was back at the end of July. So, things were starting to get a little bit like, a couple of losses here after all this green, and then a lot of green after it. But unfortunately, the market started to turn over, and then he took these losses, and this really upset him because it took his balance from 31,856 right the way down to 15,000. There's still 2 trades outstanding here. They aren't going to expire at max loss or anything though. In fact, they might be winners or even just small losing trades. So we're kind of I'll just wait for this to update. But as it stands, he seems to be convinced he's going to be closing this whole thing out for around $15,000 from the 2,000. So by no stretch of the imagination is this a bad service. If you get market downturns at the wrong time, you're going to take losses. And part of the problem for Jason is, and it's something I'm sure he learned from, he actually went out to lunch with Jeff Bishop, the other co-founder of Raging Bull, and he didn't put any stop losses in. And so yesterday, the market had this crazy, nice run. I'll show you on the SPY right here. So yesterday, everything was looking great. In the morning, he literally went out to lunch here, and then the whole thing just sold off while he was at lunch, and he came back and he was just down max loss and all these, with them expiring within an hour or two. So he had no chance to recover basically. And so you can see that these are large losses. Very large losses for the account size, and it devastated it. However, again, bear in mind, he still used $2,000, so he's given back money that he'd made from the trade. So it's still up $13,000 from with just using $2,000, which is still an astonishing performance, right? I mean, it's still really good. So I don't fault him for that at all. I really don't. Um, so going forward, what does that mean? Well, I listened into his live. He did a live for about an hour where he's talking to people, probably to kind of explain himself now. He'd kind of calmed down, and he knows there's a lot of people that were maybe new to the challenge that were disgruntled or upset about it, because of course, whenever you advertise a service and get thousands of people to join, of course they're going to immediately start taking huge losses. It's just how it is. It does it every single time. If you get a bunch of people into a service that's been on a win streak, the timing means immediately all those new people are going to struggle. So I think he was able to placate a lot of people. I'll show you the chat room. Actually really positive. Like, a lot of people were supporting him. I've never quite seen the support that Jason actually has. It's quite impressive. Anyway, let's look through the rest of this email. Blah, blah, blah. What I'd like to do here is revert to the workshop and test. Okay, so this brings me back to this point. So what he used to do is he used to just go in with 100% of his account. So he would take the $2,000, invest it into one of these bull puts, all of it, and then take the winnings from that and put all of the winnings into the next one, and then keep doing that, so you get this really rapid compounding. Unfortunately, what he found is, not surprisingly, is you'll win like 5 to 10, you'll build the account really fast, and then you'll put it all into one, and you'll take a max loss, and the entire account will go poof like that, just gone. And so he stopped doing that. So it's interesting that he's now going to start doing that in conjunction with the diversified approach. So he's going to have one lot of $2,000. So basically he's getting rid of all the challenges, and he's going to have 2 fresh challenges, both with $2,000 starting. One of the $2,000 starting amounts is going to be diversified, meaning he's not going to put it all into one particular stock or trade at once. He'll put it into smaller amounts, right? So you might do NVDA, might do like SPY with it, and it's going to be similar to Challenge A. So it's going to be diversified. That also means that as time goes on, he starts to reduce the amounts that go into each position as well, in order to protect from big losses. For example, like on Journey A, these were huge losses, but if he'd had this all, like if he'd been investing this all into one, it would have probably been wiped out here, or further back, maybe here. But looking at this actually would be kind of funny, because, well, I guess that whole 16,000 would have been gone. So what he's doing is he's going to run the two side by side. So it's going to be, he said this, it's going to be an experiment basically. He's going to see that which one works better, right? Whether investing them all 100% allocation into every trade works, if that gets him further, like to 30,000 or 50,000 or even 100,000 was what he's desperately trying to get to, or if this diversification approach is the way. Now, I think it's really important when you're thinking about this, like, this is meant to be this idea that you've started trading, you have $2,000 and you need to get above the day trader rule, like the parent day trader rule. So you need to get above that 25,000. If you don't want that type of aggressiveness where you're willing to lose it all, definitely adjust the strikes on these, because it is really high risk, high reward. And we've seen that it just takes one day to really hurt with either of these approaches, whether it's the 100% allocation approach or if it's the diversified approach like Journey A. It still got hit, right? So things still went down with the market. So yeah, so he's doing great. I mean, I think it took him a bit to recover from this, because it's always harder to lose, right? It's always harder to stomach a loss of $10,000. That hurts more than the pleasure you get from making $10,000, right? If that makes sense. And so he's stepping back, and he's being the professional that he is, and he's saying, look, I've had 105 wins, 11 losses, 91% win rate. He's made $20,000 or something from starting with $2,000 from each on the two main challenges. And, you know, that's phenomenal. I mean, not many people can say they've done that. The argument is that the market may be part of the thing, right? So everybody, when this always happens, everybody says, oh, it's easy to make money in a bull market, and that's That's definitely true. But I still don't know that many people that can actually make that much money in a bull market. Sure, we've been the whole time here, but if you look here, like for the first month and a half, we were sideways in the market. It wasn't super bullish, and it was some serious swings that could have, really hurt people as well. So it's not just about it being a bull market, although that'll help. We may continue up here, who knows? It'll be interesting to see if we get a steady downtrend for a while. Can Jason's system still cope with that? Or can he adjust it to cope with a non-bullish or uptrending market? That'll be really interesting to see. So hopefully we see that. I think we see more market highs. I think it's just going to be a bit of a pullback, which is totally fine. Be interesting. All right, to finish off, let's look at the Small Account Journeys chat room. I really liked looking at this because it's easy to think that when somebody like this makes a mistake, that people will just be mad. And honestly, I was shocked at just how many people were saying how great he is and happy, and supportive of him, because they could tell he was kind of upset about things. So I'll just wait for some of these to load. So this person is saying thanks for the great training. So a lot of wisdom from members as well, saying things like you've got to make sure that you take responsibility for your own trades, because Jason Bond's risk tolerance is different when he's already got $30,000 in there. He's not as worried as somebody who's just starting out with the challenge, so you've got to kind of put that into perspective as well. So it's definitely a balancing act for everybody. And I saw a lot of people just saying, let's see. See, I know Surfer Jeff, he's a great guy, and he's saying, love small account journey. I manage my risk by just taking one spread, and for my 6K account, only make them 5 widths, not 10 widths, and only max 3 positions at a time. See, this is where you really make money, right? This is, you learn from him, you figure it out, but then you don't have to do the crazy, like, really aggressive approach unless you want to. But I think a lot of people go in and they don't think about that. They just think about, trying to make 100 grand as quickly as possible. It's interesting, but nobody I know actually got hit on this. Most of the people were able to get out of these trades. It seems like Jason was one of the main ones that got hit. I think it was definitely worth. A lot of stuff in here. And I guess people were a bit worried that Jason was going to change the system radically, and luckily he kind of calmed down and isn't doing too much. I tell you, this is one of the most fun services I've ever been in. Like, the amount of people in this service and all the people talking about things and joking about stuff, and Jason himself going live all day, every day to talk about these things. Really, really helpful. Really helpful. So yeah, so this is part of the chat room. He combined all his chat rooms as well, so there was a small account journey chat room. Honestly, it's mainly small account journey people talking about stuff in this chat room, but now this is a chat room for all of his services as well. So yeah. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Come and check out the journey. I think the best time to start is right after Jason Bond's been hit hard. Normally there's at least a dozen trades coming up that will triple an account, which is awesome. So I highly recommend that you check the link in the description below and come and join the small account journey with us. If you're looking for something much more passive, sign up for the webinar replay that Lance and I have. I think you'll really enjoy the system. It's really, really, really laid back and just lets money come in really passively. So we don't have to worry about markets going up and down. So definitely check that out as well. Alright guys, hopefully that was helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.